Listen, just before I end this off here, we're gonna just put a little prayer in so that obviously God can bless this property.
Amen.
Anyone that does something well, I'm proud of them because it's not easy. Because some people have bought land which has landed them in trouble. May this property not land you in trouble.
Amen. Jesus.
Some people have bought houses which they think they will live in, the next day they died. Hey, listen, it's your boy Mr. CV. Today is a very, very special day. My guy just bought a house. He just bought a flat actually. And he doesn't even know I'm coming through. I'm about to surprise him. Let's see what he's saying then.
2,000 years later.
My guy.
What the fuck?
My guy.
What's up?
Hey.
You recording?
Hey. Listen, bruv. What you saying, man? Big man himself.
Me, bro.
Huh? Big man himself. Hey.
What's up?
Landlord.
Thank God, man. We thank you.
Landlord or landlady? Which one?
Your father.
Yes, big man. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man.
Hey, proud of you still, man.
Thank you.
Hey, proud of you, man. Listen, obviously you just moved in, so you're still getting a bit of the furniture and everything, so not everything is there yet. Don't envy us, or don't envy him, because at the end of the day, this is just a way to inspire other people to show you that it can be done. We're going to talk about how you can also buy a property as well, and obviously he's going to give us his knowledge. I'm going to give you some of my knowledge as well that I know. Obviously I'm just using this as an inspiration as well, because obviously if he's managed to do it, it shows I can do it as well. But last year I did a video with him about his business with the NHS, and the business is going well. But let me get him to talk about that business quick part before we do a little tour. It's been a year now, man, since the business. How's the business going anyway?
Yo, man, we thank God. Business is going well. Ups and downs, lots of ups and downs, but you know.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge about the business? Because
The biggest challenge I would say is the unpredictability. You know, you can't predict what the government are going to say tomorrow regarding PPE, or you can't predict what's going to happen with COVID protocols and whatnot. And also in regards to the business as well, in regards to government contracts, you don't know which council is going to be forthcoming or which is not. So you just kind of have to take that gamble. So that's what I'm finding right now.
First part, let's just have a little tour of the property as well so they can see. How much is the property actually?
390.
Not £390, it's £390,000. But you know what? Don't let the price scare you. You can also do it as well. Come show us around, man.
Sir.
Yes, man.
So this is the guest bathroom, toilet, sink, bathtub, I guess.
Yeah.
Hasn't been used yet, but hopefully it doesn't get used too much. This is my room. This is
The master room.
where the magic happens. It's still, you know, I'm still waiting on some furniture to be added in. I'm still waiting on my bed. Still waiting for some things to be put up. But nonetheless, the bedroom. This is the ensuite. This is the shower room.
Sweet.
Still waiting for a few pieces here. But yeah, this is
My guy is living life, man.
I'm trying to be like Mr. CV.
Nah. My CV is not up to date to this,
That's the
man.
wardrobe. And then the hallways.
Look at that. Big man.
Alright. Then here we got the guest bedroom. I'm gonna turn this into a pool table, pool room.
Wait, say that again, man.
I said I'm gonna turn this room into a pool room.
A pool,
Gonna have
the games room,
table,
yeah.
pool table here, maybe some, you know, inspiring art on the wall. Some of my favorite athletes, maybe. So Kobe, you know, Floyd Mayweather, who knows? You know, I'm just gonna put some sportsmen around there. Got my library here, my printer.
Fair enough, man. Decent, man.
Down,
You can
but
tell my man is a rich man, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
It's rich men that have books in their house, man.
So this is the living room.
Hey, sick man.
This is the kitchen. This is where I don't do any cooking whatsoever, but it's nice to have.
Oh, do you have a dishwasher as well?
Yeah, dishwasher
Hey,
here.
man. Decent, man.
Yeah. This is my little bar. I have my whiskey. I have my wines.
No drinking and driving.
No drinking and driving, of course.
Listen,
So I'm still waiting on my furniture, but this is the balcony furniture we have for now. So we're just gonna manage that until the real furniture comes. This is the TV.
Hey, how much is the TV though?
3,000.
3,500. Wow.
Yes.
Listen.
It's an investment.
It's a big investment, man.
Yeah.
It's a big investment. The final part.
Then we got the balcony.
Balcony, man. Chai. My guy's enjoying life. High life.
Trying to live like Mr. CV.
Hey,
I see Mr. CV's house.
Hey, hey.
And here you can see the games room from inside. That's it. That's it.
Look at this lounge. Give us a little walk, man. A little catwalk. My brother. Man's made it, man. Go back to have a little conversation with my guy about obviously getting into property and stuff, because I really want to know why he was looking forward to get into properties and obviously getting his flat, not just his flat, his mansion, because sometimes we just call it a flat. Well, it's not a flat, it's a mansion coming from where we've come from.
Amen.
So this is just beginning of something huge.
Amen.
We're gonna look for adjectives to describe. Beginning of something enormous.
Amen.
Beginning of something gigantic.
I claim it, bro.
Beginning of something fantabulous.
Amen.
Beginning of something fantastic. Alright, listen, that's enough. Okay, let's get into it, man. Here's my guy. He gives me inspiration. I hope I inspire him as well. But this is something big. This is something huge. But for me, on my channel, I want to make the impossible possible. So I want to make people believe that you can achieve anything as long as you put your mind into it. But let's talk about, why was you eager or keen to get into properties?
I feel like it was a milestone I always had. That I wanted to kind of just live in my own place that I own. And to be honest, when I had my car, I had my business, it just seemed like the next option, the next thing to do. So, and I also think it's important to be able to get onto the property ladder, you know, because if you ever want a loan or anything in future, you can use that property as leverage to say, oh, I need $300,000. You can say, oh, I'm gonna put my mortgage, I'm gonna put my property. So it's also a nice chip to have in your back pocket.
And in terms of getting into property, what was the way that you got into the property itself? Was it just something people told you about? How did you even discover information about getting into property?
I mean, I spent a lot of time talking to my accountant, talking to different mortgage advisors, talking to, you know, everyone who knows everything about property. I spoke to Mr. CV a few times. You know, he came down to my office. You know, we had a long talk about, you know, different options as well. So I left no stone unturned. I literally explored every option in terms of buying property, and I figured out what was the best option for me. I was just asking lots of people on YouTube. A guy called Samuel Leeds, he's quite good. He's another guy called Grant Cardone, but he's American.
Okay.
But Samuel Leeds is like the UK version of that. So yeah, I was a novice, man. I didn't know anything about it. My accountant, she just bought property, so she was giving me a lot of advice. And yeah, just, you know, asking people.
You see? And listen, I will have a property of my own, but obviously this is the beginning of him having a property. But obviously he's inspired me, because obviously I'll be looking to get my own as well. But also, it's easy. Everyone can talk, oh yeah, this is how you buy a property. But until you actually find someone that's already been in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So when he's been in there, he's only 26. You might be 26 or even younger, and you can do it. But also, in terms of getting into property, because in terms of the deposit and stuff, how did you manage to get the finances?
I was a different case because I'm registered as self-employed. Because of the business that I run, I'm employed by myself. So when it comes to getting a mortgage, they want to see 3 months pay slip. And because I employ myself, I can put whatever I want on that pay slip. So because of that, I had to show 3 years of business accounts. And my business, for the first 3 years, we made £0. And then in the 4th year, we made a good amount of money. So to any lender, they were looking at our, you know, portfolio and saying, look, that based on averages, for the most part, you've lost money. So you're high risk, because they don't know if next year's going to be successful or not. So because of that, I was able to get a mortgage because of the amount that I made last year. But because they don't know if it's something I can continue, I had a very high interest rate of 4.7% when an average is meant to be like 1.5 or something like that. So yes, that's how I managed to get a mortgage by using my business account.
That's also another way. We're gonna go into different ways of getting into properties. But also, I just wanted to touch on what he said. His way was a rare way because he had a business. But even if you don't have a business, that doesn't mean you still can't get a property. I'm just gonna tell you a few of my knowledge of ways you can. I've done the maths actually. An average person in London earns about, let's say, 22 to 25,000 pounds a year. So if you're taking out rent from that, rent is about 700 pounds a month. So, which leaves you in a year, that leaves you about, let's say, 15,000 pounds, 17,000 pounds. So if you have 15, 17,000 pounds, let's say you remove food and stuff, you have maybe 10,000 pounds left. So if you're looking for one bedroom, you need to put only about 5,000 to 7,000 pounds deposit down. So in a year, realistically, you can save about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. If you save that for 2-3 years, that's already about 6,000 to 7,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So which is the amount you need to put down for a deposit. So it is possible. Obviously, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the difference between becoming rich and becoming poor is discipline.
Right.
So if you discipline yourself, I don't see why it's not possible.
Yeah.
But what's the name of the system you follow to get into property?
Okay. So I looked into like many different, schemes and whatnot. There's Help to Buy, shared ownership, 10%, 5% mortgages. So I explored all of them. The one I did, I decided to go with 10%. And the reason I decided to go with 10% is because at the end of the year I had a lot of money that the business made. So my logic was that I may as well use that money to get to owe less money. That may sound confusing, but if I drop enough money down now, I'm gonna owe less later. That was my logic. My second option was Help to Buy, but my accountant advised against that because basically with Help to Buy, essentially you're getting two loans. You're getting a loan from the government, you're getting a loan from the mortgage lender, and then you're putting in your own deposit. Whereas if you put 10%, you're only getting a loan from the mortgage lender. And if your property should increase or decrease in value, the money you borrow from the government will also increase or decrease in value. Whereas if you do 10%, it's fixed. So whether your property becomes from 500k to 1 million, whatever you owe is whatever you owe with 10%.
Listen, when it comes to these property thing, it can be a bit confusing because there's so many ways, so many angles. Obviously, if you do need any help or you want us to clarify anything, also DM any of us or ask us for any information because we're here to help. We don't have the most knowledge, but if we are confused about anything, you can also research on Google as well.
Yeah.
But on the option he spoke about was 10% option, which I've never heard, but obviously I've just heard it from him today. And also Help to Buy. The good thing about Help to Buy is this is a government scheme that was put in place, which is through 2021. I think 2021 or 2022 actually, which is a government scheme that the government pays some money towards you buying a first-time property.
Yeah.
And this is a scheme which allows people like myself, himself, and others that don't have as much income or as much finances as people that do. It helps us to get onto the ladder. And the good thing is obviously with that one, it comes with a 5 years interest free, where obviously we pay that government's money back within 5 years. You don't have to pay interest on it, and the rest is just mortgage, which is good. Now, there's also other schemes as well that I wanted to talk about that you could also use to get into property. One of them is Right to Buy. Now, this Right to Buy is for people that have lived in council houses for a long period of time, let's say maybe 10, 15 years. Now, what the council will do, the council will now give you a discounted price on buying the property. So, which obviously is cheaper than buying it in the common market. But then also, there's also something called shared ownership. So what happens is you buy a percentage of the share of the property. Let's say for example, I bought 10% of the property. There's still 90% left. So on that 10% ownership, you might pay maybe like just certain amount of deposit onto that 10% ownership, and then the 90% is what the council own or our housing association owns, and then you pay rent on that remaining part that you don't own. But the more you buy the share of the council or the housing association, the more your rent drops and your mortgage goes up. So like I said, it can get a lot confusing. But if you now can't go through any of these schemes, there's also an option of living in a boat. And I know living in a boat might not sound interesting, but there's some good points about it because I've looked at it. One of them is, for example, if you live in a boat, it's cheaper than a normal house.
Yeah.
And two, it's still livable. And number three is, when you live in a boat, you can move, you can travel everywhere. I've known someone that lives in a boat and he goes to Belgium, France, all different places. So it's up to you. If you like traveling, that's also another option.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, how does it feel you get a property?
It feels good, man. Like, I've lived by myself, but I've lived in a place that wasn't mine. You know, I was living in a flat. It was my dad's flat.
Yeah.
No one was there. Luckily, my parents live in Nigeria, but I was there by myself. But I didn't feel, you know, people were coming in and out. I didn't really have that sense of privacy or ownership. But the first day I came in here, slept on the floor, no bed, no mattress. It's probably one of the best sleeps I've had.
Wow.
Waking up, you know, just knowing it's mine. I felt like
Unique feeling.
it's a very unique feeling, sense of pride, sense of accomplishment. And I just woke up feeling happy, and I just thank God, man.
So the next question I wanted to ask you, how was the process? Was it a long process? Was it short process? Was it a lot of paperwork? Was it a lot of...
The process was quite long, a lot of paperwork. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read a lot of the paperwork. It's a long process, but I mean, it's worth it. To be honest, I'm still going through that process now. They haven't sorted out my freaking parking, so I have to, you know, park elsewhere and all sorts. I'm having to sign all kinds of documents, all this council tax. It's a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, for that feeling that I got when I slept on, you know, it's worth it. You have to pay your dues and everything you do, and this is the way I look at it, paying my dues.
Wow, listen, I've heard from people that it can be a long process because obviously with these things there's a lot of paperwork. Mistakes can happen, which is human, and it's a lot of hard work, but like you can hear from him, it's a unique feeling. It's a feeling.
It's a great feeling.
As you own this, you know what I mean, and you're free to do whatever you want to do with it, and that's amazing. And look, like I said, this is not a case to show off his property, to show you that blah 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 because he's worked hard for it. It's to show you that if he can do it, you can do it as well, and there's nothing stopping you. And like I said, the difference between being rich and poor is discipline.
Facts.
So,
and what I would say is, you know, set a goal, because I knew I wanted to have a property, but I didn't know what property. The minute I knew what property I wanted and I knew how much it cost, everything just started to fall into place. I realized how much I needed to save, how much I needed to put aside each month, and I just started calculating it. But prior to that, you know, I've been wanting to buy a property for maybe about 2-3 years now, but I never had the property figure in my head. Once that was it, within 6 months, I'm here. So I would say, you know, realize what you can afford, realize what suits you location-wise, have a look around, even just go, you know, visit some properties and just get a feel for what will suit you and take it from there. And
also, just some information I forgot. Now, when you are getting this property, there's a lot of names that you never heard here of. There's something called memorandum. So lots of names. But so all these names, don't be scared about it. Just make sure you read information. But there's one thing that they will always say to you even before they give you a mortgage. It's called affordability. Now I need to explain what affordability means. Affordability is whether you can afford the property. The way they calculate affordability, let's say for example the rent, the mortgage is £1,000. They need to make sure you're earning £2,000 just to make sure you can cover in case of anything happens. And also,
just to break that down a bit more, it's not just about, you know, whether you're earning double or not. It's about what other outgoings do you have. Do you have a car that you pay for? Do you have a child you're supporting? All of these little things. They call it the help to buy calculator. So you put in all your outgoings, your car, your rent, how much you spend on food, and they will tell you if they think you can afford this mortgage. So if you're someone who maybe has a lot of outgoings, Help to Buy may not be the best option for you. You may have to go with shared ownership or 5% or 10%, but there are other options if your affordability is not great.
Like you've heard it from him, like I said, it's easy to talk about these things, but talk is cheap. We want to see action. And I'm sure if you've seen action, I can sit here and read what's on Google for you, but until it's actually been put into action like this, it's all pointless. So look, it's your boy Mr. CV.
He's your boy. He's your boy, Mr.
It's your boy Mr. CV. Look, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to be able to achieve great things. Just because he's bought property at 26 doesn't mean you should feel under pressure. Don't let anybody put you under pressure. Because the person that's put you under pressure that you think is doing well might not even be doing better than you. So don't let anybody put you under pressure. This is just something that you also can achieve. Don't hear big numbers that property is worth 400,000, 600,000 and put you off. Don't allow that to happen. If you believe, you can achieve. For that reason, I'll leave it at that. It's your boy Mr. CV. Have a nice day and enjoy whatever you're doing, man.